A little more than 200 years ago, the blaze of a setting sun beckoned pioneers to press westward in search of a new life. Many arrived in Texas, the original Wild West, and soon settlements began springing up, bringing protection in the often dangerous and unpredictable new territory. As these communities grew, groups found places to congregate for worship. In 1837, just 1 year after Texas declared independence from Mexico, Z.N. Morrell organized the First Baptist Church in the town of Washington on the Brazos, the birthplace of Texas independence. During these early days of the Republic, trained ministers were rare. An experienced pastor may have 2 or 3 churches in his care, separated by long and arduous journeys. Given the vast distances between these isolated communities, the time was ripe for Baptists to come together and organize for the common good. Messengers from LaGrange, Independence, and Travis met in the fall of 1840 with 3 ordained ministers, including Judge R.E.B. Baylor, and formed what was then known simply as the Association. Meanwhile, Baptists in the States began to see Texas as a foreign mission field and prompted the American Baptist Home Missionary Society to deploy 2 missionaries, James Huckins and William Milton Tryon, to reach the Republic. Huckins immediately organized the First Baptist Church in Galveston and then Houston, splitting his preaching duties between the 2 cities. Tryon revived the First Baptist Church in Washington on the Brazos and planted another congregation in a nearby area. Being a man of formal education himself, he led the overarching sentiment that the association needed to begin laying the foundations for a Baptist university in Texas. In the winter of 1844, the triumvirate of Huckins, Tryon, and Judge Baylor petitioned the Congress of the Republic of Texas to charter a Baptist university. It was Tryon who chose the name Baylor University, thinking that the notoriety of the minister and then Associate Justice of the Texas Supreme Court would lend credibility to the petition. It was granted, and Republic President Anson Jones signed the Act of Congress on February 1, 1845. This officially established Baylor University, the oldest university in Texas operating continually under its original charter. The university's first donation was $5,000 given by Sam Houston, who himself was baptized the next year during a revival. God was moving in the Republic, and before long, the need for more localized communities of churches was apparent. And so the association helped establish 4 other associations before 1860. By now, it needed a formal name. The name Union was chosen as a compromise and a catch-all term, since the founders of the association hailed from a variety of states, both north and south, and belonged to a number of distinct Baptist lines. The name served as a reminder to anyone who heard it that more can be done together than apart. Given the stark imbalance between the harvest field and the harvest force, UBA determined to assess the felt need of churches across the state for a state convention. The effort eventually led to the starting of what would become the Baptist General Convention of Texas. However, as the mid-1800s approached, a storm was gathering and the day of collective effort was quickly approaching an end. Sporadic fractures within the body soon gave way to the 1850s and 1860s, when seemingly everything in our country broke apart. The sectional strife leading to the Civil War and the aftermath of Reconstruction touched every facet of life in America. Businesses, farms, churches, and sometimes entire communities evaporated into history. It would be almost the turn of the century before any kind of unity returned to Baptist life in Texas. The future of UBA wasn't necessarily assured at this point. Over a vast amount of territory, UBA had less than 50 churches. However, the epicenter of UBA life continued to follow the population as it gravitated toward Houston and Galveston. Having lived through the storms of controversy throughout the end of the 19th century, UBA sat on the precipice of a new century, and with it, a new period of opportunity.